All right. Over the past couple of lessons, what we've been covering is unit fractions and multiplying those unit fractions. If you don't know what a unit fraction is when you have a 1 in the numerator, and it could be any number in the denominator. So it could be 1 over 1, 1 over 1,000, 1 over 1,000,000. In this case, we have 1/5, 1 over 5. Whenever you have that 1 in the numerator, it's going to be a unit fraction. All right. We're going to show you the traditional way of multiplying fractions first, and then we're going to go back and explain what this means. Okay? First things first, whenever you have a fraction and a whole number, you're going to change that whole number into a fraction itself. The easiest way to change a fraction into, a whole number into a fraction is to just place it over 1. Now what you'll notice here is that unlike when we have adding and subtracting fractions, you don't have to make the denominators the same. You just multiply straight across. So you have 1 times 25, which is 25. You have 5 times 1, which is 5. And now what you're left with is an improper fraction. What this says is 25 divided by 5. Well, we know that we can get 5 groups of 5 from 25. So therefore our answer is 5. Now when it comes to unit fractions and whole numbers, when you multiply them together, essentially what you're doing is this. Since we had 25 times 1/5 times 25, you're actually writing this problem. 25 divided by 5. Now in your student's notebook, they found out that there are many ways of writing multiplication and division problems. A couple of those ways are, we're going to keep it with 25 divided by 5. You can have that traditional way. You can have 25 over 5. That's the same thing. And you can also have it inside the box. And you can also have it with the slash. Alright, all of those means division. So when we see this up here, 25 over 5, we automatically know that this means to divide 25 by 5. Okay? Another thing, just to kind of give you a quick little overview, we covered a couple of different multiplication symbols that they'll see now, because we're starting to get to a point where we see a lot of variables. So normally, let's take 1/5 times 25. You normally see it like this with the x, but that x can sometimes be confused with a variable. So you'll see it as 1/5 dot 25. You'll see it as 1/5 and an asterisk 25. Right? Sometimes you'll see it without any symbol, but you'll have parentheses. Alright? Whenever you don't see anything in between the parentheses, that means multiplication. And then the last one you'll see of. So it'll be 1/5 of 25. That's math lingo for multiply. Alright? So whenever you see any of these, that's what you want to look for. Alright, now let's switch gears. We're going to come over here now to the comparison portion. Let me get this lined up. There we go. Now you've seen this a little bit last night on your homework. So here we're going to compare. We have we have red. Let's say people's favorite color was red. So 24 people like red, 4 people like blue, 2 people like gray. We're going to do a comparison, and we're actually going to draw a diagram with that. Now when we're comparing, we're finding out how many times more someone favors something over another, or how many times more one person has versus the other. So in this case, let's take red and blue. We're going to find out how many times more people like red than blue. So we're going to take 24 and divide it by 4. 24 divided by 4 gives us 6. So we know 6 times as many people like red than blue. Now if we were to draw a diagram, let's take that 6 and we're going to bring it over to our red. So we're going to make 6 rectangles because we know 6 times as many people like red. Alright, now that we know this equals 24, we need to figure out 6 times what is going to give me 24. That's going to tell us what number we're going to put in each box. Well, we know 6 times 4 equals 24, so inside of each box we're going to put 4. Because when we add 6 of these 4s up, it gives us 24. Alright, now we need to go down to blue. Now we know that 4 people like blue, so how many boxes do we need to have? Well, if we know that each box represents 4, we only need to have 1 box. Okay, and this one over here equals 24. So this is how, if I asked your student, or if they, the worksheet asked their students to make a diagram, this is what they're looking for. Just to quickly do a second one, if we went on, let's say, blue times gray, blue versus gray. Let's draw a line. So if we have blue and gray, we know that 4 people like blue, 2 people like gray, so 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So we know 2 times as many people like blue than gray. So we're going to make 2 boxes here. And we know this must equal 4. So we know what should go in the boxes, which is 2. Because we know 2 plus 2 equals 4. We know only 2 people like gray. So that tells us only 1 box needs to be made for gray. Now the last part, they're going to ask you to create comparison statements. Let's go back up here to the red and the blue. They want you to make 2 statements regarding this. So we know 4 times as many people like red than blue. So we're going to ask you to write that. So, sorry, not 4 times, 6 times as many people. 6 times as many people like red than blue. Now they're also going to ask you to write the opposite of that. So switch it around. How many more people like blue than red? Now you wouldn't say 6 times as less people. We're actually going to do the reciprocal of 6. Now I'm going to do this off to the side. If we have 6, remember we're going to write it as a fraction. It'll be 6 over 1. The reciprocal, or the opposite of 6 over 1, is 1/6. So we're going to write this statement again, but in this case in the perspective of the blue person. So 1/6 times as many people like blue than red. Alright? So that's what they mean when they want you to write those 2 comparison statements. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but hopefully this helps you out. Shoot me any emails if you don't understand, and I'll try to help you out as best I can.